What's up, everybody? We are back. Good to have you.
Watch it there.
What?
A little gun show.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. It was more of a point like that.
Yeah, let's point it out.
Yeah, point it out. Happy Thursday. It is almost the weekend. Hope you guys survived the cold. If you're in Minnesota, it is warming up and will be warming up shortly.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
We're here for it.
We are here for it. It's about time it warms up, but that's why we choose to live here, I guess, right?
For now.
Do we have anything on the WAG talk, or are we going right into basketball?
We're going right to basketball.
Basketball it is.
Dirty right away.
Ooh, down and dirty. So NBA, Red Panda. We talked about it last time. All-Star game, All-Star events,
All-Star weekend
All-Star weekend
in San Francisco, California.
at what is it? Chase Center? Is that where the Warriors play?
I think so.
Chase Center. Yeah. So there it was. Not halfway through the season, but it is what it is.
About 2/3.
Thoughts? Response? What did you think? Did you watch any of it?
I didn't really watch much, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, you had the celebrity game on Friday. Didn't watch that.
Oh God.
Did you watch
I'll say this. I turned it on and then I did not have it on very much, but I flipped through it. I never realized, like, I get it, you're a celebrity, I get that. But like, and I haven't played basketball in a long time, so don't get me wrong. But it's like, holy moly.
That's because
Athlete is not the one word I would describe a lot of those people.
That's because you keep dipping out on pickup.
True, but that's yeah. My cardio probably wouldn't be there, but I watched that and I was like, oh my God, these guys are really, really bad for the most part. And don't get me wrong, I was even watching Baron Davis was part of it. Granted, you probably couldn't recognize him. He looks a little different, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, these guys are just. It was just hard, and didn't watch. Really.
Okay, so that was your thoughts for the celebrity game.
Brutal.
3-point contest. I did call the winner.
Yeah, you called the winner. That was impressive. I will say that it was fun. It was exciting because they put like little twists on it. I think they were expecting people to score more, but people did not score very much more.
I think people scored more last year.
Yeah.
And the rules were the same, I believe.
Yeah, the 3-point shot with the extra starry ball or whatever.
Yep.
And then
last
you got
year
your
was
own
the
rack.
first year of that. The star is just like deeper in the kind of like the slot. Right?
Yeah, it's like after the top. It's like in between the top, like the center, and then the one next to it. And it's just a little bit farther back.
Yep.
But no, I like the idea too of having like a full rack of X amount, because then you can actually
Of money balls.
Yeah, money balls, because you get to pick that spot, and you can also then make a comeback where that's technically worth 10 points.
Yeah, if you put it at the end.
Right, if you put it at the end. So, no, I think it's cool. I think that it's a good idea. I mean, I still think it's just a 3-point contest.
Right.
Can't really change much about it.
No.
You had we'll wait for that. We'll have the
Skills
challenge,
Yep.
which was kind of interesting. Because I had said this, it was on the TV. I saw a little bit of it. It's interesting because the skills competition, there's no issue. Like if you miss the 3, so you get 3 at each spot, or like there's 3 bounce passes, 1 chest pass.
Yep.
Shoot 3 threes, then you shoot 3 from the elbow, and then you move on and do some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I said out loud too, I was like, that's weird because there's no like harm in missing the shots. Once you shoot 3, you're done.
Yeah.
Well, you had team Spurs kind of beat the system, and they literally just picked up the ball and threw it at the ground, and then run to the next one, did it again. Granted, they got disqualified.
Yeah.
Which is probably fair. But I think it's also the same thing.
But also like that.
They beat the system, 100%.
Rules.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I feel like if they did it, it's like almost just you have to punish people. Like if you miss all 3 shots, maybe you get 5 more seconds.
Right.
Because then it actually puts an incentive to shoot it. Like they didn't do something illegal. They just bent the rules, I guess you could say. Not even bent the rules. The rules don't say you have to actually shoot, maybe.
Right.
So.
Or you have to like attempt
a shot.
Make it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I do think it was very interesting. Obviously, I think it was a bad look because they did it. So they were like, hey, we have to disqualify you. But
they should have done it where, like you said, it's like a certain amount of seconds added on if you miss all 3.
Or just like 5 or 10 seconds. Not something egregious like 30, because it's still a 3-point shot.
No, yeah, not 30.
But it's also like, okay, sure, you miss it. But it's also incentivizing you to be like, hey, if it's 10, 15 seconds, you should actually take your time, because that's a big difference.
Yeah, I think 8 to 10 seconds would be realistic.
Yeah, we'll go 10. 10 seconds. So there you go. That's a change of pace.
Who won that?
The Cavs, I believe. So it was Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Cool.
fun to watch. But
And then slam dunk.
dunk contest, back champ, Mac McClung.
Yep.
I will say, and we had talked about this when we previewed it last time, it was a little bit more interesting because Castle actually, like, he can fly.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, this bro's
Remember
actually
when we
legit.
didn't even think that he could dunk?
Yeah, now all of a sudden he's jumping. I mean, the bro can fly.
Yeah.
And so it is one of those things where it was more interesting. I still think, I mean, I get the timer thing. You get a minute 30, but it's so hard after you miss your first dunk to try it 3, 4, 5 more times.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, you're gassed. And second of all,
Way less cool.
yeah, it's like cool. It's cool. But getting it on that first time is just like elite.
Yeah.
So obviously Mac McClung won again, which is great to see. I mean, I will say this. He actually impressed me looking at his dunks. Like, I know he's 6 feet, but like his dunks were actually like legit.
Yeah.
Like the bro can fly.
That's positive.
Yeah. And next year, maybe let's get, I don't know how you get people. I thought about this. I saw it was on Twitter because they were showing like all these other guys who dunk. Like these other not NBA players. But I was saying, like, wouldn't it be cool if they did a dunk contest with like, you submitted a YouTube
With
video?
The pro dunkers?
Yeah.
There are pro dunkers.
Holy and those bros are sick.
Yeah.
And they're trying dunks like you play on like
because they
video
don't actually
games.
play basketball. They
Right.
are literally going just for dunking.
and they can literally just jump through the roof, and it's like these bros are trying like double between the legs. Like something you would never, it's like what one of us or some of us might try in like a little kid's hoop.
Do you think that that would add to the intrigue because that's like what they do for a living? Or do you think that people would be like, all right, well, they're not even like
They're not NBA players.
they're not NBA players, so it's different, and it takes away from seeing NBA players do this.
Yeah, I think it's the price you pay, but I also think it's getting to a point with the dunk contest where it's like, all right, 2 of the 4 guys didn't even complete a dunk.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why not have somebody? And maybe it's just like another. I mean, I know one year they did like the Steph Curry, Sabrina Ionescu like 3-point contest. Maybe they do it on like the side for just a little bit. Like, hey, here's 4 guys competing. You only have 1 round of it. Winner gets X. But I mean, these bros can literally fly.
What if they did a side-by-side tournament where it was 4 of these pro dunkers,
Okay.
4 NBA guys, 2 for the NBA advance, 2 for the pro dunkers advance,
Ooh.
and then the finals are the 4 guys.
4 guys. So there is 2 rounds.
And you get 2 rounds in the finals, but there's 4 guys instead of just 2 left in the finals.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, here's the thing. In my eyes, like, I think it actually would like elevate it. But then it's like the same question you said, like,
Because the dunks would be,
dude, they would be insane.
it would be pretty hard to see the pro dunkers not win. Like, I don't see a world where they wouldn't win.
No, 100%. They would for sure win. But they're also trying things that are just out of this world.
Yeah.
That's why it's almost like I feel like they have to, not necessarily, I guess you can compete against everyone. I feel like, but they're in just such a league of their own
Mm-hmm.
where it's a little bit harder. But I mean, I don't know. I
That's
think it would be cool.
Well, apparently, word on the street is potential for Ja Morant was talking online.
Okay.
Zach LaVine was talking online.
Oh, here we go.
Potentially coming back.
Coming back. Okay. See, I think it would make it cool.
You think that they would? Or you think it's just all talking?
I think it's all talk. I think they saw the performance and they were like, hey, let's get the people going and chat. Like,
Right.
John Morant's not doing it. He has too much,
After
I think.
just saying that he would never dunk again in a game.
Yeah, after dunking one time and being like, hey, crowd, that was unbelievable. It's like, because like you said, he just said he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't see John Morant. Zach LaVine, sure, obviously way older, but I do think it is one of those things where it's like, it would be cool. I mean, everyone goes back to the same dunk contest, Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine.
Right.
I mean, when you're
That's
going
literally what everybody thinks.
Yeah, when you're going 6, 7, 8 rounds after, like there's only supposed to be 2 rounds.
Yeah.
And you're going that many more dunks, like sure, the creativity is a little bit less, but it's like they're just going back and forth.
But that was how many years ago?
What was that, 5? Was that when we were in college?
God, more.
Was it?
I feared that if it was when we were back in college, that would be more than 5 years.
Zach LaVine dunk contest? Um, 2016?
Yeah.
So right after, well, yeah, you were a senior, I was
Mm-hmm.
out of college, so what is that, almost 10 years now?
Yeah.
So and this is the thing. What I'm saying about that too is at the same time, like, Zach LaVine is a freak athlete, but can he jump like he used to? I mean, that bro was going from
Probably
the free throw
not
line
like
doing
he
between
used
the
to.
legs. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it would be
Yeah,
cool. I
yeah.
think we need to bring it back, but I love the idea of like, hey, let's get some pro dunkers. Sure, they're not
I like
NBA
that
guys,
too.
but
I like that too.
it's like the one video of who's the famous guy with the blue hair. Sometimes he has blue hair. Sometimes he's a professional dunker. I don't know. He did a halftime, or he did something at the
Not sure.
All-Star game, and he like did a dunk, and he dunked it like backwards, like almost like
Uh,
over a guy this way.
I can picture who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah, and he's like famous on TikTok, whatever. But it's like that's the thing where it's almost like I think he would elevate the crowd because these guys haven't seen that.
Right.
So it's like I understand they're not NBA guys, but I think they should do it. Just test it out. What do you have to lose? So that's my dunk contest review.
Okay.
I would love to see a switch, but it's cool to see a guy who's 6 feet tall jump as high as Mac McClung.
I don't think that he'd probably win if he was going against pro dunkers though.
Well, so that's the other
Because
argument.
there'd be other 6 feet.
6 feet guys,
dunkers.
yeah. But that's the other argument too. Like I know it's like a big deal, obviously for him too. Like you win $1 million.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big deal for a guy who's technically what is he in the G League?
But it would also be a big deal for these pro dunkers. 'Cause
Exactly.
I don't think
Gotta elevate your game.
They're also getting that much. Like
No,
I'm
they're
sure
not.
they're doing plenty fine, but I don't think they're getting NBA money.
Jordan King's Kilgan, this guy.
Kilgannon.
He's a stud.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, I think it would be cool.
Okay.
So that's my one change I would make, or one addition.
Okay, and then Sunday.
All-Star game.
Yeah, we can just skip the Rising Stars because it's the same thing, same kind of thing.
Yeah, same kind of thing. We kind of talked about this before. I think the two teams that we had projected were going. I think the one knock I would have on it is it's kind of weird because they were like playing and then they would take like a 20-minute, 30-minute break in between games.
Mm-hmm.
And they only played up to 40. And I think there was a level of like, okay, do we play hard defense? Do we not play defense?
You can get to 40 pretty quick when you're an NBA player.
100%. And you're shooting threes and you're running fast
Yeah.
breaks and you only have 6 or 7 guys. So I don't know. I think maybe, but the thing is also like, how long do these guys want to play for? I don't know. So I think it was cool. I think it's a good switch, but I don't think it lasts long enough. And I think that's why they had to fill the time with like random acts. Like Kevin Hart was a halftime guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, but I don't, this is annoying. Nothing against Kevin Hart, but it's just like, that's annoying. It's not what I want to listen to.
Yeah, true.
So, but I don't know how you go back to it. The hard part is the money factor of it is you can't do money because money doesn't motivate some of these guys.
Right.
Like, I was thinking about this. You get X amount of dollars for winning, right? Great.
Yep.
But if you're a guy like, even like LeBron James who sat out, Anthony Edwards didn't. He sat out. Giannis sat out, but they knew he was going to sit out. But LeBron and Ant announced it like the day of, if not the day before.
Late.
So it's like, so now your team's down to 6 guys.
7, I think.
Or 7, because they had 8, right?
Yeah,
7?
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't know. In my eyes, I understand if you're hurt, do whatever. But it's also like, okay, well, then obviously the prize of $250,000 isn't that big a deal. And
No.
LeBron James is
But we
making
all know-
$500,000 a game.
We all know that it's not that big of a deal to these guys that
Right.
are making a bunch. And you would think, in theory, the guys that are making the All-Star game
Are
are
making top-tier
making
money.
plenty of money in
100%.
the NBA on their regular contracts. So they, like,
Besides the
for
rising
everybody
star
else,
guys, yeah,
that's
100%.
a large amount of money. But for
These guys,
those guys, it's not.
right? No, 1,000. That's what I'm saying too. Is it's just like the money side can't motivate people, so you have to figure out
So what do you think
A way
would
to make
motivate them? Any ideas?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, I look at it, the hard part is this, is you watch clips too of like past All-Star games,
Mm-hmm.
and like these bros are throwing elbows, these bros are playing defense and hard, but it's also like in today's day and age, they're not going to do that
Right.
because they don't want to get hurt, they don't want to have that injury risk. But
Mhm.
I don't know how you make it competitive. I think they're trying to find a way, but it was the same talk we had last time. Like, how do you make All-Star games competitive?
Do you think that home court advantage in the
in the
finals-
playoffs,
in the finals would
is that decided by best record? How do they decide home court? Do you know?
can't remember.
Because MLB, that's what the All-Star game is,
Right.
which I do think plays a part. But I also think it's one of those things in MLB, like we talked about last time. Like, how do you not be competitive? You're throwing a baseball, hitting a baseball. Like, you can't really slouch that. There's a rebound. So
based on seeding with the team with the better regular season.
Okay.
Home court advantage.
So maybe instead of that, you make it, hey, if you guys win the All-Star game.
Right.
I guess
You would have to go back to East-West.
Yeah. Right, because then you'd have to do... Yeah, because you can't... Because if you had guys on both sides, yeah.
But what's the guy's name that I just see his videos on TikTok, to be honest, but he's like a sports commentator for one of the networks or whatnot, and he was saying that you have to be in the Sunday night All-Star game. This was kind of his idea, where the All-Star game is playing for home court advantage in the finals.
Yeah,
that's what this guy said, and he said you have to be at the All-Star break. You have to be on a team that's in the top 5 in the East and the West.
Oh, top 5
to play in that game. Because obviously, if you're on the worst team in the West, who cares? Yeah. You're never making the finals anyways.
Right.
So if you're on one of the top 5 teams in the East and one of the top 5 teams in the West, you're like eligible to play in the All-Star game on Sunday night.
And then so you do a draft from those guys?
Correct.
Like have a team that...
Yeah.
So like the top vote getter, like the LeBron.
It would be 8 and 8. And then his other idea was to shake up the Saturday, and for the All-Stars that aren't on the top 5 seeds in the East or the West, then those guys would be on a team and they would play the best 8 of like the rising stars on Saturday.
Interesting.
So you have to be a top 5 seed going into All-Star break to play in the Sunday night game. If you're not, and you're still an All-Star, then you're playing on Saturday against the Rising Stars.
Got it. Interesting. That's interesting. So the Saturday one against the Rising Stars is combination of West and East, or is it a West and an East?
No, it'd be a combination.
Okay.
But I mean, who knows? They could do the same thing that they're doing with the 4 teams. And maybe you have an East team, a West team. Granted, that'd be another 16 guys. So if we're trying to expand the All-Star numbers, but the East, a West, and a Rising Stars like freshman, sophomore, and then a G League team. Maybe you do that. Those 4 teams in the Saturday night festivities.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea. I mean, it's a good thought. I mean, it's just hard. I think I
that
agree with the fact that
shake up.
Yeah, no, that would be definitely. I think it is a good idea though, where it's like, hey, we got to play for something, but it is hard to be like,
money.
It's hard to say like, hey, I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that's definitely a shake up, but it could be interesting to see.
On the note of change ups, they could follow the path of Unrivaled and go 1-on-1 tournament.
And I think a 1-on-1 tournament
only by the guys in the All-Star game, though.
Right. And I think truthfully,
we're not bringing in randos.
No, 100%. And I think a 1-on-1 tournament, when you ask or when you look around or probably ask players are probably willing to do that because it's fun and it's also they have that competitive nature inside them where it's like, hey, I want to beat you 1-on-1. Like that's what they've. I mean, I don't say grown up, but it's street ball 101, and they just want to do it. And
I mean, I don't know if
bragging rights,
but like you could make it where it's the other thing for that is like the winner. Probably the easiest thing to do is money as well.
Yeah, that one you almost have to do money. All these competitions, like dunk contest, 3-point, you have to do money.
Right.
It's the only way. That might be another one.
Yeah.
So. I definitely think so. I definitely.
He said 7.
That was 8, right?
No, he's at 7. He's at 7 total. We need 9. He needs 2.
Oh, they didn't count that.
No, he did.
Oh, but he needs 9.
Yeah.
So he needs 2 more.
Yeah.
Is it a push or that's a win?
That's a win.
So, I mean, I think the 1-on-1 tournament would be cool. I think Unrivaled did it great. I think their winner got $250K, which was 200K.
Yeah.
And so
Collier.
Don't get me wrong, it has to be something with money or something like that. So yeah, I think it would be fun. Speaking of that, we'll give you guys a few players we might think would make it to the semifinals, we said? If they did a 1-on-1 tournament?
Top 4 of the
What, 8 you think
I'll
they
go
start with?
one-on-one. So it'd be how Unrivaled did it was there was 4 groups of 8. So they seeded 1 through 8, 1 through 8, 1 through 8, 1 through 8. So there's 32 players.
Okay.
And they did like a little bracket of those 8 players.
Okay.
And then those 8 players, those 8 players, those 8 players. So then there was essentially like a mini March Madness bracket where you have 4 semifinalists all coming together, and then it's the winners of those 2 matchups play. So you'd have 4 semifinalists, and in this scenario, got to be an all-star.
Yep.
Because then you're already at the weekend. But one-on-one tournament for those, I mean, I guess technically if we were expanding the all-star rosters to 8 and 8 for Sunday and then 8 and 8 for Saturday, then there would be 32 players.
There'd be a lot more players.
So you could essentially seed them 1 through 32, and then they're going at it.
Yeah. But like I said, I think it would be one of those things, like I do think it would be I think it would be a hit because like I said, I think these guys like that competitive nature where it's like, hey, I'm going to beat
personal
you
pride.
Perfect. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start? You can go first.
You're not going to take my answers?
No, I have my answers written down right here.
Okay.
I actually have
do you want to
6
go?
players.
Well,
Just in case you say one of mine, I'm going to switch to my next.
Well, no, I don't think you should do that.
You think we should say the same person?
I think you should say I think we should say our top 4, and then we can. I have 1 honorable mention.
Okay.
So if
I could give my honorable mention.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just like 1 honorable mention.
Yeah.
All right. Number 1, KD.
Okay.
Do you want me to go all 4?
You can go all 4.
Okay. My 4 would be KD, Kawhi, and this is all fully healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. KD, Kawhi, Shea, and Luka.
Okay.
Those are my 4.
Okay. I went LeBron, number 1, KD, 2, Kyrie, 3, Wemby, 4.
Okay. Why LeBron?
I mean, he's the best player. He still can go one. He still goes one-on-one. He can guard every single position, too. The difference is I understand, like, I hate to use this argument, but, like, size-wise, like, Shea ain't guarding these guys. Shea could guard Kyrie. He ain't guarding KD.
He's also 6'7".
Sure, but what I'm saying is, like, they're not, I just don't think the size-wise it matters when it's like, all right, he's going to back you down in the post. I mean, Wemby's a little bit different, but it's like, that's why I think Kevin Durant, for me, is like,
Kevin Durant's easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
I think Kyrie, because he has handles, I went with him a little bit. So against my argument, he's just size-wise. He's a little guy, but he's got handles. But I do think LeBron James would play with a one-on-one.
I don't think that he's a good enough shooter.
Maybe he can just get to the hoop. No way. Oh, just let him grab it.
I don't think he's a good enough shooter, and I don't think that Wemby's consistent.
The thing that scares me about Wemby is Wemby's a big...
Like, he'd be fine defensively.
No, defensively he'd be a stopper.
But offensively, you got to be able to score. That's one-on-one, and I don't think he has that yet.
Yeah, but that's the same then return argument for Luka. Luka doesn't guard shit, so he wouldn't be able to guard anybody.
Right.
So if it's make it take it, we're playing the whole game. If I get offense first, he ain't touching the ball.
I think that he's big enough where he could get 1 to 2 stops.
1 to 2 stops, maybe if he tried.
Yeah.
If his conditioning was up too. Yeah. Fully healthy.
Exactly.
Conditioning's at 100.
Yeah.
No, we're turning off the dials.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right. So who's your 1 honorable mention?
Giannis. Size.
You want to give it? Okay.
And size. He can get to the hoop. He is a guy who I understand he's not a great shooter, but he doesn't. He'll get past whoever he wants.
I don't think he would be good.
He'll get past whoever he wants.
I just don't agree with that. My honorable mention, Undercover would be amazing at this. He would just have to make All-Star Weekend. DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, you'd have to make All-Star Weekend.
Right. That's why I said that's a stipulation. This bro is a mid-range killer.
Yeah, he's a mid-range killer, but yeah, his biggest, the one flaw is he has to make the All-Star Weekend.
Right.
Which probably ain't going to happen.
Well,
But yeah, it would be interesting. I mean, it would be interesting to see how much the size matters too, because you look at, I mean, I know they're all tall guys, but like Shea don't play defense. Luka doesn't play defense.
But these guys' offensive bags are incredibly deep.
Yeah, but that's the same argument. If your offensive bag isn't deep, but your defensive bag is deep, you have to play defense. You don't just get to play offense.
Beats good defense.
No.
Yes.
No.
In a one-on-one setting, yes.
No.
Yes.
Who's stopping Giannis out of your 4?
Probably Luka.
No chance, Chris. You took your worst defender against the best driver in my picks.
He's the thickest.
The thickest, the slowest, the most unagile. I mean, come on.
Kawhi would be.
Kawhi was a better answer. I would have given you Kawhi a little bit. Luka is horrible just because he's thick.
I'm just saying.
Luka's just thick. No,
he wouldn't be able to.
So we'll see if the NBA does it. We'll see who makes it because most of our guys, at least our top 4s, would for sure be in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So we'll see who wants to do it.
Read your 4 and I'll read my 4, and then everybody can say which 4 we think is better.
Okay. LeBron, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Victor Wembanyama.
Maybe we go whose is better and or whose is realistic that those 4 would be a semifinalist for the one-on-one tournament. Because it could be different, potentially.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
All right, and then my 4 are Luka, KD, Shea, and Kawhi.
In that order? So you have Luka number 1?
No, KD's number 1.
Okay. What's your order?
Is LeBron.
That was my order. LeBron was number 1.
Really?
KD's 2.
Okay, I would go KD, fully healthy, KD, Kawhi, Luka, Shea.
Okay. Yeah, there it is.
That'd be my 4.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, you can let us know.
Let us know.
Or no, let us know if we missed somebody.
Yeah, if somebody else that you're like, oh my gosh, this is an obvious pick, or which one's better, and or
which one
more realistic,
or which one of these players would win the whole thing. Just one player, not the team.
Well, there's only one consistency between yours and mine, so I think that's what
KD. I think KD would be. I mean,
he's impossible to block a shot.
Talk about mid-range sniper. That bro is literally would rather take a mid-range shot than a layup. So
yeah,
he's the guy.
It's the same.
There it is.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll add it. Maybe they will add it.
That would
and
be
we'll see.
A nice change.
That would be a nice change. It would be interesting to see. Because that's just a competition where it's like, hey, best against best. Let's go, baby.
Exactly.
I will say this. Really? Oh my god. I will say it would be interesting to see the format too. Because like, what do you play up to? 5 1s and 2s?
11 2s and 3s.
2s and 3s?
Yeah. That's what the Unrivaled did.
Okay. Make it take it, or just every
alternate?
Did you have to rebound it, or was it like once they miss the shot, you get the ball?
I think you can rebound it.
Okay. Because some of these, like you see some, one-on-ones, it's like they literally shoot it, and if
I would prefer for the NBA no rebounds.
Yeah, no, 100%. Just once you miss
one shot,
you get a possession, and once you miss, the next guy goes.
Yeah, and they did 7-second shot clock.
Oof.
So, I mean, my preference would be one shot, and you get 5 dribbles.
Oh, so instead of shot clock, dribbles.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Or you could. I think the shot
I guess
clock.
7 seconds is probably about 5 dribbles max.
Yeah, I think the thing with the shot clock is I think the shot clock also though has to be long enough where it's not making like a super big impact, but you can't just sit and dick around. Like you have to basically make your move and then go.
Yeah, you gotta make a move.
Right.
And
so,
you can pass it in the Unrivaled one. You could like pass it out.
Pass it out to
like a clearing person, and then they pass it back to you, and then the time starts. So you rebound it. So it's continuous in this other one.
I didn't see the Unrivaled one.
So if the defensive player grabs the rebound, they kick it out to somebody, and then they run outside the 3-point line, get the ball. That's when the shot clock starts, and then they try and score.
Got it. So the difference is with ours though, you want rebound, so it doesn't.
Right.
Got it.
But you could grab the ball, pass it out, and then once you're outside the 3-point line, then you.
So you kind of get a little advantage.
So you kind of rebound, but the offensive player wouldn't need to like try to rebound because if you miss it, then obviously the other person gets the ball.
Got it. And so that would give an advantage. So it's like, hey, if I get the ball, like if I grab the ball and I pass it to the guy, could I just run out there right away, or do I have to wait for you? Okay. So that would be the difference too.
It would take a little bit of a benefit away from the bigger guys because obviously they have a better chance of getting the offensive rebounds.
Yep.
But I think that would lean more towards offensive skill, which is what we want.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see.
So.
Yeah, there it is. That's our NBA talk.
All right. Moving on to college basketball.
College basketball.
If you didn't tune in last week, you missed out on Texas A&M, Memphis, Alabama, Kansas, UCLA, and Marquette for our deeper dives into those 6 teams. We're doing the same thing this week.
Yeah, fun fact for you. I think 2 of my 3 teams lost. Alabama lost. Memphis lost.
I mean, Alabama lost to Auburn. So
Yeah, that wasn't a bad one, but Memphis losing to Wichita State, not great. But hey, we're not talking about February, we're talking about March.
It's true.
So,
all right, who's your...
my first team is the Wisconsin Badgers.
Okay.
Currently projected a 4 seed in the tournament. They have a good win against Arizona. Beat Arizona and also just beat Purdue on the road. They're kind of coming. They're led by their point guard. I think his last name is what? Tonje?
No, he's not point guard.
Shooting guard Tonje averages like
Yeah, he's
18
their
points. They have 1 loss this whole year that's by more than 6 points.
Wow.
Their other losses are within 5 or less. That's incredible.
That is surprising.
Yeah. So they're kind of making a push right now, ranked number 11. So, yeah.
And what did we learn about them today?
What?
They're like the best free throw shooting team.
Oh, yeah, they literally are shooting the best team free throw. It was like 89%?
84.
Or something like that? Yeah. Incredible.
4% as a team. That's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sticking with the Big Ten. Maryland.
Okay. The Terrapins.
Currently ranked number 20. They're 20-6 overall. 10-5 in the Big Ten. So they were 10-1 going into conference play. They have currently a 5 seed. They're currently projected a 5 seed. Good wins. They beat Illinois at Illinois by 21 points.
That's a good win.
That was a great win. They also beat Wisconsin at home, but still beat Wisconsin. Their bad losses, Washington and Northwestern. Both away, but those are 2 of the bottom 3 teams in the conference.
I will say this. I will say this. What's crazy is I don't really know a whole lot about Washington, but Northwestern is a tough place to play.
Yeah.
On the road. It always seems to trip some people up, which I don't know necessarily why that may be, but
I don't either.
But I will say this, we talk about this all the time. In college basketball, going on the road seems like night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day. If you can somehow win on the road or win home games, like you have to win home games.
Have to win home games.
And if you can get some of the away road games wins, huge.
But like their other, so obviously they only have 6 losses. They lost to Marquette.
Good team.
By 4 points at home.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It's a good team.
Purdue at Purdue by 5.
Tough game.
That's fine.
That's a tough game.
At Oregon when they were ranked in the top 10 by 4 points.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Talk about a team, I will say this, I think Wisconsin was the same way. Talk about a team in Oregon who was like preseason top 10 or was top 10 at some point and then is just now like 3-9 in the conference. They're horrible.
They're 7-8.
In the conference?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they've lost. Maybe
But
they're 3-9
they
in the
were
last 12.
But they were 11-0 going into conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But so they've lost 1 game at home all year. This is Maryland now. They've lost on the road to Purdue, Washington, Oregon, Northwestern, and Ohio State. All on the road. All by at most 6 points.
See, I will say that I feel like that's the Big Ten's resume is like close games.
Yeah.
It's always close.
They have not lost all year by 6 points is their biggest loss of the year.
Yeah.
And so they are the number 57 ranked defense in the country.
It's good.
They're allowing 67 points. Pretty good.
It's good.
It's
very good.
Out of how many is there? 300?
Yeah, there's over 300, but yeah.
Okay.
And the bottom teams are
number 15 ranked offense.
solid.
That's great.
I feel like they're an undercovered great team.
And they have 5 guys averaging double figures.
That'll do it, yeah. Need scores.
I mean, they're stacking up to be a pretty solid team.
They must
in the
have some
tournament.
transfers.
They got Derek Queen. He's their leading scorer. He's a freshman.
Okay.
I think they also have like 2 or 3
Derek Queen's
transfers.
a big guy. He's a beast.
I think they have 2 or 3 transfers.
Oh, they have Reese. He's still on the team.
Reese, and then Gillespie, I'm pretty sure, is a transfer. He's their second leading scorer.
Okay. Yeah, solid. They're good.
So, I'm feeling pretty good about Maryland going into the tournament.
They might be a sneaky team because you haven't really heard a lot about them.
Right. Projected 5 seed, so it's not going to be
Where are they ranked right now?
Currently, they're 20.
20, okay.
Yeah. But, like, they have no bad I mean, they do have bad losses, but they're away in the Big Ten by a couple points each time. So,
yeah.
Not, like, crazy bad.
No, not crazy bad at all.
So, all right, there you go. Maryland, watch out. Keep an eye on them.
My next team, I hate to say this, is Creighton. I rode Creighton last year.
Yeah, you did.
Pause. Very hard. Pause. They won a lot of people a decent amount of money, so it was a great ride. But this year, not so much. 160th in the nation in scoring. Horrible. They literally have 2 guys that put the ball in the basket.
3.
You could say 3. Sure. We'll give.
They're still top 25 ranked.
Top 25? No, not anymore. They're out.
They are?
Yeah, they're out. They're not ranked anymore.
Oh, because they lost.
Yeah, they lost the last 2, UConn and St. John's. But I will say this, and the Big East is very competitive. They've split with UConn, Marquette, and St. John's, all ranked teams.
Okay.
Well, UConn's not ranked anymore, but UConn's still a solid
Those are
team.
the top 4 teams.
And those are the teams that will probably end up going. Don't get me wrong, I love Kalkbrenner. He's solid, but also I don't know how serious his injury is. Hopefully not serious. Good player.
Fine.
Came back in the game, which was very surprising. And then the difference, though, with them is like if one of them, if they're not scoring the ball well and Kalkbrenner is not, and there's a big guy that can match up with him, might be on upset alert. I think they win the first game. The second game, granted, that won't necessarily be an upset. I just don't know if I can keep riding them. I think they lose the first weekend.
Really?
I do. I really do.
I don't think that's
not a hot take though. That's the thing is,
agree with you.
Yeah, they'll win the first. They're projected a 7th seed.
Okay.
So they play the 10, and then what do they play after that? The 3?
2.
Yeah, so they should be get quote unquote not upset, but lose to that team. But I just think from how they did last year, definitely a step down.
Yeah.
Definitely, which is unfortunate.
But also to be expected.
Yes. Graduate, 4 guys to the NBA?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it 4? And Kalkbrenner was only, Ashworth came back, but he wasn't.
3, maybe.
Maybe 3, yeah.
Shireman.
Who was the point guard guy? He was good.
Trey Alexander.
Yeah.
And I can't think of the other one. But yeah, they were solid last year. Still good. They're exceeding expectations right now.
100%.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. My next team, Iowa State. Currently ranked number 8 in the country. They are 20-5 overall, 10-4 in the Big 12. But 10-4 in the Big 12 puts them in 4th place in the Big 12, which is kind of surprising. Right now, they're projected as a 2 seed.
Really?
Yep, 2
Okay.
seed. Good wins. Marquette. It seems like all these teams have played Marquette.
And they beat Marquette.
Yeah.
But Marquette is still, top 10?
Around there, I think.
Like top 10? I'm pretty sure they're...
I think they might have dropped a little bit, but like they have flirted with top 10.
Okay, right now they're 16, but they were at some point, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when
they've lost 3 of their
Iowa
last
State played them, their 7th or 8th game of the year, they were number 5.
Yeah,
so they beat Marquette. They beat Kansas at home. They lost to them on the road. I think, yeah. So they lost at Kansas. They beat Kansas at home by 17. And then they also won at Texas Tech by 1 point when Texas Tech was not ranked. But now Texas Tech is like top 10.
They're 9.
Yeah, number
They're
9
good.
in the country.
Yep.
So they've been on a tear lately. Bad loss. They lost to Kansas State at home by 20. And they got absolutely demolished in that game. But on a similar...
Wait, who is this?
This is Iowa State.
That's crazy because Kansas State is kind of like the sleeping giant. They smoked Kansas at home by 22.
They had a really good stretch for a little bit.
Yeah.
Where they won games like handily.
Okay.
It was like a 3-game stretch here. Let me pull it up. 4-game stretch, I should say. So they went to Iowa State. They won by 20. Then they beat Arizona State at Arizona State by 1. But still beat them. Then they played Kansas at home, rivalry game. They won by 8. And then they played Arizona at home, beat them. So in those 4 games, they beat the number 3 team in the country, 16 and 13. But
pretty good streak right there.
before that 4-game stretch, they had lost the previous 6 games, and then they followed that up by losing the next 2 to BYU and Utah. So like
BYU is actually, I think they're top
They're
25,
fine.
and then but
Kansas State.
that team is not.
But anyways, back to Iowa State. They really haven't had like that many notable losses. Kansas State at home was really the only one. Otherwise, their losses have been to Auburn, number 1 team in the country currently.
That was only by 2.
At West Virginia, which like
Yeah, teetering.
teetering on,
I would say it's
not
like bad
great,
loss. It's just
but
a
it's
loss.
at West Virginia and they're solid.
Yeah.
At Arizona, not bad.
Mhm.
Home to Kansas State and then at Kansas. So, in terms of their resume, pretty solid. Makes sense, obviously, because they're projected a 2 seed.
Mhm.
And their offense and defensive ratings 31 offense, 49 defense, which their defense slightly better than Maryland's. However, it is surprising because I feel like Iowa State always gets a good rep, like, oh, they're such a good defensive team. They're such a good defensive team. I would expect them to be higher than that, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of what they built last year off of for sure. Was they were just defensively solid. They just didn't give up points. Which I don't remember if it was I think it was the second round game they played. Literally, they could not score right away, but they were still only down by like 5 or 6, and you were like, all right, once the ball starts going to the basket, this game's over.
Right.
And then they took over because they just don't give up points.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. They got through their injury period in the middle of the year. They had one of their like most important players apparently was injured for a while. That Momcilovic
Okay.
guy.
Yeah.
So he's back. He's playing now. So that helps. And we'll see if they can go on a little run here towards the end of the year. I mean,
This guy was their point guard last year too. Lipsy.
He's still there.
Yep.
Yep.
He's a good player.
He's solid. You'd be surprised how many assists he gets. Not a lot for being their point guard.
Curtis Jones.
Look at how many assists Lipsy has. He's their point guard. He plays almost the whole game.
2.8.
Yeah. Less than 3 a game, and you're the point guard.
Only
of a
one
top
guy
10
that has
team.
over 4.
That's shocking.
That is shocking.
And he doesn't score either. Like, he's a grinded out defensive guy.
Yeah. But he's shooting less than 50% from the field.
Yeah, But they go to Houston, not tonight. On Tuesday they're playing Colorado, but their next game on I think maybe Saturday is at Houston, and then they still have to play home to Arizona. So those are the 2 most challenging games coming up. So I mean, if they win both, they'll obviously be locked into a top 2 seed.
Yeah.
Even if they split, depending on what happens in the Big 12 tournament, I feel pretty confident saying that they're going to be a top 3 seed.
Yeah, they should be solid. So
there you go.
I mean, the Big 12 and the SEC are literally just dominant.
Yeah,
and I mean, you could say the Big 10 is probably on the edge of that, but yeah. My last team, unfortunately, this is not a good side. The Baylor Bears.
Okay.
Going with Baylor. Baylor has had a tough season. I don't think Jeremy Roach has not been, I would say, exceeded expectations. He's kind of been irrelevant. They have some good players, but from a program, I feel like when you think of Baylor, you're like, all right, this team is going to make a decent push. They potentially could make Sweet 16, Elite 8. They're always solid. They're projected right now a 9 seed. They have, what is their current record is 16-10. They're 8-7 in the Big 12, which it's the Big 12. They just don't have very good wins. They've beaten Kansas. That's their one big good win.
Okay.
They lost to Tennessee. I guess, granted, they beat Arkansas the second game of the year. The first game of the year, they lost by 38 points to Gonzaga. 38 points the first game of the year. First game of the year.
Okay.
But
that's a long time ago.
Long time ago, but they're not heating up. They are the one team they play. They don't have a tough schedule going into the Big 12 tournament. They do play one game against Houston, the last game before the Big 12 tournament. But
that'll be a big one.
It'll be a big one, but I mean,
That's
for them, they might have to win a few games in the Big 12 tournament to show some people they can make a push.
They're just very hot and cold.
That would be the definition. Yeah, they've gone on maximum 3-game, 4-game win streak against Sisters of the Poor, Utah.
Yeah.
So there you go. Not great. So if I'm them, we did it. Yeah, I don't think they do it. Also, fun fact for you, we just talked about assists.
Mm-hmm.
They also only have one player that's over 3.5 assists per game. One player.
Interesting. I feel like that's never a good sign.
No, they don't pass the ball.
Granted, in college, a lot harder to get assists, but still challenging.
But you have to have at least one guy who's getting like 5 or 6 assists, I feel like, a
Do
game.
you know what they say about March Madness?
I don't.
Tournament for the guards. You gotta have good guards.
Potentially, but yeah, these guys, I mean, they're
A
good.
little disappointing.
Yeah, not great.
My third and final team for the week is St. John's.
Solid.
They are sitting at the top of the Big East. They're currently number 10 in the country. Even though they just beat Creighton, who was a top 25 ranked team. They did lose to Villanova earlier in the week to Villanova by 2 points. So they did drop one spot. So they were 9, now they're 10. They're 22-4 overall, 13-2 in the Big East. So they are at the top by 2 games, and they have the tiebreaker over Creighton. So in theory, 3 games cleared of the next closest team.
How does tiebreaker work?
Head to head first.
But then if you split, does it go wins and is it just your conference record? Or what is...
Well, conference record. If they're tied, then it goes to head, and then after that, usually it's like
wins against top something teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So like, if it was St. John's and Marquette tied, then and Creighton was third, then it'd be okay. What's St. John's record against Creighton? What's Marquette's record against Creighton?
So
St. John's beat them twice and Marquette split. Okay, St. John's is number 1.
Got it. Okay.
Usually that's how it is. I'm not exactly sure what it is for them, but they are currently projected a 4 seed. They're good wins at UConn, home to Marquette. They beat New Mexico and they beat Creighton. Losses on the year. Granted, they're 22-4, so they only have 4 losses on the year. They lost against Baylor by 1 point earlier in the year. They lost to Georgia by 3 points. That's probably their worst loss.
At home, yeah.
You got at Creighton by 1 point, and then you got Villanova by 2.
At Villanova.
At Villanova.
Not saying it's
right.
bad. It's still probably not. It's not a. I mean, it's on the road. It's not a bad loss, but it's still.
I wonder what that is. If it's like a quad 1 or 2.
Got it 2.
I don't know, dude. The road wins. It's like top 50 teams or something. Top 75.
Top 50.
I don't know.
They look decent tonight.
Yeah, they did. They did look decent.
So,
but like, okay, a 2-point loss, a 1-point loss, a 3-point loss, and a 1-point loss.
Yeah, that's good
for the year.
No, those are solid. Good. I mean, here's the thing about St. John's. Coaching wise, with Patino, like he gets them in the right position. Like he does not F around.
Take crap from anyone.
No, and there's like a video or something going around. There was a video going around that was like him saying, if someone were to tell you right now when they were 12-1 in the Big East, like if you were 12-1, would you have expected that before the season? And he would have said, I would have looked at the person and said, how the hell did we lose that one game? And so it's like that's his mindset. He's going to win, and he wants to win every game, and he wants to smoke you. Period.
Yep.
And it's even like the last game when they were. I think they were playing.
They played Creighton.
Was it Creighton?
Saturday,
and they were down, or it was close, and they came out of halftime, and it was a different team.
Yeah.
So yeah, the right coach, the right spot.
They're the number 34 ranked defense in the country. So pretty solid. I
mean, the thing that you'll notice too, I think, with these top tier teams that are elite or like efficient is their points per game minus their points allowed are usually like around 15 to 16. Like it's usually a gap of like 15 to 20, I will say.
Because they're beating down on the bad teams.
Right. Average teams, it's like, and their losses are by minimum, like their losses are small.
Yeah, max is 3.
That's what I'm saying. And then you look at teams who are average or potentially going to lose. It's like, that gap is within 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about it like they've all played, unfortunately, some teams who aren't very great.
Right.
And so if you don't smoke them, you don't help your average.
Yeah, you got to be able to beat those guys down.
By a lot.
All right, so here's the good argument for St. John's. They got a go-to guy, R.J. Lewis Jr. He's solid. He's averaging almost 18 points a game. And they have a very good defense.
Yeah.
The bad, they are awful free throw shooters.
Yeah, their best guy.
Awful.
Well, what are they shooting? 68%.
Yeah.
as a team.
Right.
That's also including the bros who don't probably play and are shooting 85. I guess, yeah, not great. I mean, even 3-point shooting, they're only shooting 29%.
But they're really bad. Like, their starting point guard, 54%.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Their best player, RJ Lewis Jr., 75. So, like, at least you got him to get the ball to at the end. But not very good if you only got really one guy. And then you got guys that are, like, coming in off the bench that are shooting low 80s. But everybody else is in the mid to low 60s.
Right.
That are playing.
Yeah, it's not great.
So, and against Creighton, I think they were like, it was really bad this last week on Sunday.
Yeah, I will say this: the other good part maybe about them is they have 10 guys who have played in 20 plus games.
All their games.
So they have a lot. Well, not necessarily all their games, but 20 or more. So some of these guys have played in all 26.
Yeah.
5 of them have played in all 26. But I'm saying, like, for these other guys, they have a decent bench they can rely on to come out.
Sure.
And come in there. So I'm not saying the free throw percentage doesn't grow by those guys by any means.
58% on Sunday.
Right.
One guy was 2 of 8.
So that's what I'm saying is that's, like you said, that's the bad, because sometimes it comes down to the end of the game.
Yeah, not good. And honestly, they made a lot down the stretch in that game. So, like, this was maybe a good effort for them.
Right.
Which is alarming. But, I don't know.
Maybe that's why they're so good at rebounding.
Maybe.
Just can't make free throws.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But, there you go. Those are our 6 for the week.
6 for the week. We'll be back next week with 6 more.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens. We're 1 week closer.
We'll continue to trek to March Madness.
What is it? We got the 20th.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4 more weeks until the tournament starts.
Not including this one.
1, 2.
It's the 20th, right?
Correct.
So 1.
So 5.
5. So 5.
Okay. So that means you get 30.
30? Do the math, please.
Maybe not the last week because we'll be doing the tournament. So 4. So you get
24. Yeah.
You get 24 more in-depth analysis of teams that are going to be in the tournament.
There it is.
If that doesn't help you win your bracket challenge, I don't know what will.
Right. Sorry. We gave you the keys.
All right.
We led you to water, but we can't make you drink.
That's right.
So that's all we got.
And with that, we're signing off.
See you.
Peace out.